Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to the Civitai.com stream. How is everyone today? Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me or if you can't hear me and how the general stream looks. That would be helpful. Excellent. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So, welcome. I'm your host, Ali. I'm Civitai's Community Engagement Manager, and we're about to do Wednesday's office hours. It's your chance to bring me your questions and your concerns about Civitai, and I will give you all some updates on what we've been doing behind the scenes. And we'll wait a couple of minutes until people all pour in. If you don't know what Civitai is, we are a platform for the creation and sharing of AI-generated art and tools to make that art. We're swiftly becoming the Times Square of generative AI as creators flock to Civitai to share their generative AI artworks. We have a huge community in the multiple millions, a 90,000 strong Discord community, discord.gg/Civitai, which is full of great content. So if you're watching on Twitch or any of the other socials, I would encourage you to head over to Discord and check us out. And conversely, if you're watching via the stream on the homepage, civitai.com, please come to Twitch or any of the socials and follow us there. When do we stream? If you're watching on Twitch, you can check out the schedule down below. You can catch me every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and my colleague Tyler has special guest interviews and AI video tutorial content on his slots every Thursday and Friday. You may have noticed that there's no Monday office hours now, and that is a change. With the recent reshuffle of responsibilities, it's become too difficult for me to fit a Monday stream in, so we're changing to a single midweek office hours update. And firstly, I think I am losing my voice, so we'll see how this goes. Just reading the chat here. All good, let's get into it. Okay, so firstly, site stability. We always talk about that first. Last week, I mentioned how we were battling Redis, our in-memory database that keeps information handy for quick access. Well, I'm happy to report that we haven't had any Redis issues in the past week, but we have had some downtime yesterday due to a Kubernetes issue. If you don't know what that is, Kubernetes is a system of containeration for website services. You may have heard of Docker. It's a bit like that. Well, we had a technical issue with that, which brought us down yesterday, unfortunately. And today we had some database issues, Axiom issues, Postgres issues. Why do we have these kind of problems? It comes back to the transparency report. If you haven't seen the transparency report, I will put the link in the chat. Yeah, sure. If we had a huge $1,000 per hour database server running, Hadoop, MapReduce, would the site run better? No doubt, absolutely. But that kind of hardware is out of our league, and we just don't have the team to manage it either. So we do have a lot of technical knowledge and expertise on the team, despite what people say about us in the comments. But there are still only 6 developers, including the CEO. And furthermore, they're all on call 24-hour rotations. So running Civitai it's not a 9 to 5 job for any of us. There's not a moment when we're not thinking about Civitai. So again, we're doing the best that we can with the technologies that we can afford. All right, I do have some good news. I've been updating you over the past few weeks about our GPU situation. We've almost hit a milestone there. We are very, very close to having 400 4090 GPUs in our data center. Again, going back to what I just spoke about, you know how difficult it is to manage that sort of hardware, but I think we're doing a pretty good job with a team of 6. So 400 GPUs, and we need to talk about models being available on the generator. So we are now, with those 400, down to an image interval of about 50 milliseconds. So that's 50 milliseconds between the images being generated. And we're generating over 2 million images every 24 hours. And it's just not slowing down. Our orchestrator guy behind the scenes has been working on a new worker code and it's made a breakthrough. GPUs in the data center will soon be able to share resources between themselves instead of having to download them from the internet, from Cloudflare. So say GPU number 250 has a particular resource loaded into VRAM that GPU 140 needs. We can very rapidly transfer that resource into the VRAM of number 140, much quicker than we could downloading it into the VRAM from the internet. So there's only one problem. Right now, each of our 4090 clusters has about 1 terabyte of storage. But to make all this work seamlessly, we need about 4 terabytes on each one. So we are working on that now. There's always something, right? This change, though, along with this worker change, this code change, along with having the 400 GPUs, is going to allow us to change the checkpoint system. Nothing is set in stone just yet, but the plan is, and I have spoken about this before, the plan is for us to have roughly 100 slots that will be Civitai pick slots, so models that need to stay active: Pony, SDXL, Flux, Dreamshaper, Juggernaut, and so on. Then we'll have ecosystem slots, so 50 SD1.5 slots. 1.5 makes up a tiny fraction of our generations every day now. So a small number of 1.5 slots, 100 SDXL slots, 100 Pony slots. Everything will technically be available. And there will be a bid system, so the community can push models into featured slots with Buzz. So most popular models will already be in a slot already catered for. But if you have a particularly niche model, something that you've just created, maybe you just uploaded, you haven't got traction behind it yet, we're giving you the ability to pay to push that onto the generator, where it will incur no additional resource cost. Again, wouldn't it be fantastic if we had 50 million bucks and we could just run unlimited compute with every model supported? But this is the reality of where we are. And to make the whole thing work, there has to be concessions. But overall, the system will be much more open and fair than anything that we've had previously. So I think it's all progress, right? Yep, of course, there's the joke. Just call Elon. Absolutely. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we had the compute that we wanted to make all of this work seamlessly? Yeah. So we still have a dream. As with a bunch of these things, we still have dreams on where we want to get to. It's just getting there. We're going to have to take baby steps. All right, let's talk about things that we've pushed and put in place over the last couple of weeks, and some news as well. So, the big news, and I did talk about this last week, but we'll cover it again, is the evolution of the Creators Program. Let's jump over here. I've got it up here, Evolving Our Creator Program. I'll paste the link into the chat. Okay, so the TLDR is that we've had a beta creator program running for the past 6 months or so, maybe a bit longer, with about 50 creators in there. It was super straightforward. We built a payout system in conjunction with a third-party payout provider, and we were offering Buzz withdrawals at a flat dollar exchange rate. The hope was that as the platform grew, we'd slowly be able to expand the number of people that we could support in this creator program. However, as you have seen from the transparency report that was just on screen, we continue to operate at a loss, and expanding the current program just isn't viable. We simply don't have the means to fully open this program in the current form without compromising our long-term sustainability. The program just doesn't scale. So we are evolving that program into something that's sustainable for us, but also inclusive to you guys. So I think that's pretty exciting. We are introducing the concept of a monthly creator compensation pool, which is allocated as a portion of our previous month's revenue. This approach directly ties creator earnings compensation to platform growth. So when we grow, the pool gets bigger, and obviously the compensation that you guys can claim grows with us. Yeah. You shouldn't apply for the Creators Club. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing that you can apply for. You won't have to make any application as such to this new system. All right. The basics of how this is going to work is as follows. And now, again, it's in development right now. Nothing is set in stone. So anything I say is subject to change. But Qualified creators with a Civitai subscription can bank their yellow buzz that they earn through the creator compensation system, or any other way that they earn yellow buzz. They can bank it to the creator compensation pool. Now, monthly distributions of that pool is proportional to each creator's banked buzz. So if the pool is, say, $35,000 in a month, and you banked, what you banked represented about 2% of the total banked, you'd get about $700 out. There's no cap. You can bank as much as you want. There's no platform fee. Earnings will be available to withdraw through our creator payout partner that we've been working with the current group of creators. And there's a range of options there. PayPal is the most common. Now, you may have seen we did launch a tool in the Buzz dashboard last week, an earnings estimator. Now, heavy emphasis on the estimator part. Let's take a look at that. If you head over to your Buzz dashboard and you scroll down, my mouse scroll's not working. Stop. Go. Stop. My scroll wheel's dead. I need to buy a new mouse. It scrolls and sometimes it jumps back up. I've tried to clean it. It's just horrendous. But this is like the third mouse this year. So anyway, down here, finally found it. Down here, new creators program coming soon. See how much you might be able to earn if you click this link. I can actually just throw it in the chat for you. It's the same for everyone. I don't make much buzz. I don't release resources which are popular anymore. So my numbers are exceedingly poor. It's quite a complex app, but if you read the tooltips over here, there's a bunch of tooltips. It will explain what each of these means, and you'll get the gist. We'll go into this in greater depth as we get closer to a rollout of the new system. But take a look, see what you might be eligible to withdraw. And remember, it's an estimate. All of these numbers are going to fluctuate before release. This is just hard coded. This pool amount is hard coded as well. So have a look. Please do remember, though, this isn't the program that we envisioned and talked about originally. And that idea, like I mentioned before, that idea still isn't dead. But this is the way that we can make this work and give everyone a fair shake at earning compensation for their work. Got a quick question in the chat here. Do I read the Twitter chat also? Yes, I do. Yep. All right. Now, additionally, this is also something really interesting here. For those of you who don't make LoRa's or checkpoints, you might not earn creator compensation the same way as some people do. So, for example, this stuff here, this creator compensation. If you're not releasing checkpoints, you're not earning this stuff, you're not going to be left out in the cold. So I can't really go into details right now, but we have had some ideas, and one in particular which would open up a whole new avenue of business for Civitai, a whole new earning stream for those who don't make checkpoints, who just make images. But that's something that actually it puzzled me last week. So I spoke to a content creator. That's kind of what we call people who just make images. They don't make resources. And they said, "How do I earn yellow buzz?" And I said, "Well, now mostly through creator compensation, what you're looking at right here on the dashboard." And they said, "But I don't make models. I just make images. So how do I get paid?" And that was really odd to me. That concept that people using our service to make images, to make the big titty anime waifus, they're expecting us to pay them. And there's some sort of expectation that everyone using the platform can get paid. But then I thought about it a bit more, and perhaps there is a value in what people are creating and posting to the site. I mean, not all of it, of course, but some of it for sure. And yeah, that got us exploring some avenues. So we'll see what happens there. There's definitely potential, and we are keen to explore that. We are going to look at that. So we've got some potential there. All right, I've rambled for 10 minutes about that. There will be announcements and more information as we get closer to this new program launching, of course. All right, let's move on. Go back here. Let me just read the chat real quick. Okay, all right, let's move on. Illustrious 1.0 dropped. Now, not without some controversy, which I'm not really going to get too bogged down in, but it's out. And as we mentioned many times before, it's available for on-site generation only at the request of Onoma AI, the people who've been training it. Um, they've also made the model available for generation on some competitor sites, and one site in particular, which I won't name, of course, you probably know who they are, did in fact get Illustrious 1.1, a whole version ahead of ours, which I wasn't aware of in advance. So I am speaking to them right now. We've got a dialogue going, finding out what the story is there, and expect some changes coming up for Illustrious in the next couple of days. They are willing to work with us, and something will happen. So keep an eye on their page for sure. Further to that, though, our generator isn't really set up for Illustrious 1.0. The model's native resolution is far higher than our generator presets. And I'm also told that there might be sigma values that need to be increased to, which is obviously outrageous because we're all sigmas at Civitai. That was a terrible joke. But we do need to make some adjustments so that you can get the most out of this new model in our generator. Now, related to Illustrious, sort of, and the point of contention for many is the new Civitai ability for gold Civitai subs to set their models to on-site generation only. You can see that live. I've got a test model. I mean, you can see it on the Illustrious page, obviously. Let's just take a look. It's not this one. It's the other one. The naming convention is also quite odd. But here you go. So because I'm a mod, I see it slightly differently. But let's just switch over real quick to non-mod account. This is what it'll look like for you guys. I'm going to switch back. All right. So we did release an article talking about this. And you can read that in the chat right here. I'm not going to get too much into it, but we're not forcing anyone to use this, right? If you wish to use this functionality and you have access to it, more power to you. It's been a highly requested feature for a very long time, and it's very much a pro-creator move, pursuing our mission of giving people control over their own content. The goal behind this was never to limit creativity or accessibility, but rather to empower creators, people who are making the content which you guys are consuming, by giving them more control over how their work is shared and used. Now, we've intentionally given it to a small tier of users. You know how many, gold subs? Let me think here. Yeah, gold subs make up 0.015% of the user base. So a fraction of a percent of the user base. So if your fear is that it's going to go rampant across the site and soon everything will be on-site generation only, that's just not the case. It's a top-tier function for the top creators who want more control over their content. Simple as that. I understand people's concerns, though. It might feel like content it conflicts with open source values, but we really see this as an addition and not a replacement. Open models, of course, remain a vital part of Civitai, and we remain committed to supporting all creators who choose to share their resources freely. All right. That's the big news there. Another thing, semi-related, NoobAI. So we're working on proper support for that. There's more to be done behind the scenes than you might actually think for NoobAI. But we are working. We'll get a base category set up for it. We'll get filters for VPRED and EPS at the model version level. That's being worked on. We do need to update the trainer. There has to be VPRED training options, all that good stuff. So that is in hand. But we are in the middle, like I mentioned before, we're transitioning from our old Python worker code to this new super efficient workers. So there's no point in doing these changes right in the middle of that. So I do expect that we'll see movement for NoobAI in the next couple of weeks. Okay, moving on. Let's see what we've got next in my list. Lightrix. What have I got to say about Lightrix? Generation is out, obviously, super low cost. Everyone can use it. The image to video is actually really, really good. I wonder if I've got some in my queue. Got a couple here. Yeah. So this was Lightrix. Um, really, really pretty good outputs. This one's Mochi, but image to video with Lightrix, excellent results. And it is super low cost. You can gen for about 60 buzz, I think. It's fast. This is the first video service that we have running on our own GPUs, and it's now surpassing all the other generation services in terms of generations, total generations, um, video generation services, I should say, in terms of total generations. We did hit a plateau in the last couple of days in terms of generations. We think we know why, and today we should be processing a lot more. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes you do have to roll the dice a few times, but I think that goes for all video generation services. It does generate weird watermarks and logos on videos, which would otherwise be perfect, which is definitely super annoying. But you can kind of negate that a little bit by putting, watermark logo in the negative prompt. But come on, it's less than 100 buzz. In contrast, you're looking at a minimum of like 600 for Kling and even 200 for Hyper. So speaking of Hyper, did you see they've closed their web app? It's not a thing anymore. They just they sold their rights to their model to a new provider, and it's going to be API only. I believe we're still going to host it. We're setting up agreements with this new provider, and I have not heard of any pricing changes yet, but we'll find out. Cool. Speaking of video gen, and nobody's brought it up yet, but usually happens. We're still working. We're still working on Hunyuan and LTXV LoRa training on site. Hunyuan training is actually phenomenally difficult on Windows. So many people have been stumped. People who would usually be able to train locally have been stumped trying to get it to work in Docker. You can get it to work in Docker or WSL, but we only want to tap into that, get you guys training and generating with it on site. And our guys are working hard to make that a reality. And I saw the first epics that they trained on site just today, actually, and it looked fantastic. So it's almost like when LoRa training first dropped for ST1.5, nobody knew exactly the best way to go about it, what the best settings were. There was a huge amount of trial and error involved. So we're trying to navigate all that for you and come up with something that just works 100% of the time. It's an incredibly complex task, but it is in hand. I believe when it goes live, there you will have the ability to train on images only. I don't think we'll be training on video clips when we first go live. That might come in a further iteration. That needs a lot more VRAM to train on video clips than just training on images. So we shall see. All right, that's video gen. Let's see what else we've got on the list. Private generation. Your question. Okay, question in the chat real quick. Hunyuan image to video was meant to be January. Okay, so yes. When we bring it to the site, it's probably just going to be text to video because they haven't released an official model for image to video yet. Now, they talked about January, but that was pushed back. Now we're hearing Q1. And I've been told that when the image to video model drops in Q1, we'll also be getting a new text to video model. That's what I've heard. It's not January anymore. No, unfortunately. It feels like it. It's just crazy this year. I don't know. But yeah, we're still waiting for news on that. Of course, there are flows like third-party nodes that you can use to kind of fake image to video, but they're a lot of work and We're not sure if it's worth it at this point, whether we should just wait for the official model. We'll see. Okay, now private generation. I've been QAing it this week. There's still a bunch of issues to be ironed out, but we're actually very close. They're aiming for a Friday release here. If you're not sure what this is the ability to generate from a model that's in your drafts without publishing it. Firstly, subscriber only. Private generation will require an active subscription. Secondly, it's coming in two sort of forms. Firstly, after training your LoRa, when you get to the epic display page, there'll be a button allowing you to test each epic by loading it into the generator. I might be able to show that to you right now if I pulled it up in our staging environment. So this is what the epic page looks like now. It has download, it has a create button and a continue button. Instead of a publish button, it now says continue. When you click the create button, it will load this particular epic into epic number 5 here, for example, into the generator, and you can just prompt with it. So that is exciting. Limitations here. So you can leave this in this epic stage for 30 days. It stays in this unpublished kind of limbo state for 30 days until it's removed. So you can prompt with it in here until then. If you would like it to keep it, then you would need to continue. You need to, yeah, okay, let's get to this. I wonder if I can show you this. Let's just try it. I'm not sure if it'll work because I think the code has been updated on stage, but let's click continue and see what happens. Okay, this is going to change based on feedback from our testing, but you've got two options now. So you can publish something straight away, which is the normal way that we've been using, the publish function for a long time. Or you can just choose to keep it private. Now, you still have to go through and you still have to fill out your description, set up the model as if it was going to be public. And then you can hit the keep it private button and it will appear, let me see in my profile, excuse me, it will appear under your models and you'll have a new private section, a private tab. Now, these models, because I'm working in stage.civitai.com, these models actually appeared in prod. They shouldn't have, but they do because of the kind of disparity in the code. So these ones are actually showing for other people. They're showing publicly, but once this is pushed out to prod, it'll be fine. It'll work. So I'm told. Yes, so you'll have private models. These will not disappear. They'll remain in your kind of published but not published private. We're going to have to come up with new terminology here. I think private just works. So these are private and they will remain on your account. They will not be deleted. And if you wish to push them public, you can, and then they'll appear in the published tab over here. Might already do because, like I said, it's kind of broken. So that is exciting. That is very exciting. There's a few more nuances and things that we'll have to talk about when this is slightly closer to launch, especially around the safety of this. So we'll get into that when it's closer to release. Cool. I think that's going to be a big one. It's going to be very exciting. Next, let's talk about something that dropped quietly. Request priority pricing. Now, you might have noticed this at the bottom of the generation panel. This little drop down here. You've got standard, high, and highest. 3 groups. Everyone is in the standard bucket by default. Everyone. You can choose, should you wish, nobody is forcing you, to use some buzz to put your request, your generation request, into a higher bucket. And if you're a sub, you can choose to put your request into the highest. I think the super high, it's hidden here, but the highest bucket, this one down here, is only available to subs. So yeah, you can pay to push your generation into a faster bucket with the smallest concurrency, if you like. By using this, nobody using standard bucket has a slower experience than they would normally. When you push a request into the high or the highest bucket, you're not pushing in front of standard bucket users and lengthening their execution times. You're just moving your request into an entirely different pool of users, a much smaller pool, which is therefore faster. Um, Now, over the past couple of weeks, I spoke about we've got our 400 GPUs almost. Inference speed is very, very fast now. Um, Excellent, even without using priority pricing. But the difference here, the options here definitely make it a difference to your generations. Um, on the highest bucket, for example, I have managed to cut down flux like 30, 40 seconds off of the flux generation time because you just don't have to wait for a GPU. The highest pool has a lot lower concurrency. But again, it's entirely optional. Nobody has to use it. If you don't like it, just ignore it. It's not harming anyone else's experience by it being there. It's a purely optional feature. That makes sense? Can I pay Buzz to slow down generation for specific users? That's funny. All right. Is priority feature available via the generation API? It's not, to my knowledge. That is not a function that is in the API. Let me make a note of that real quick. Priority API. Okay, that's a good call out. Thank you. All right, bring your own image. Let's pull open the generator again. And I'm going to go video, start from an image. There we go. Bring your own image. Obviously, we talked about this last couple of weeks. It's available for image to video right now. You can drop an image in from any web page, including Civitai, into the generator and use it as a starting point for video generation. But we have got other image-based workflows coming very soon. We've got a fantastic background removal flow, um, much better than some of the earlier background removal models. This thing came out quite recently, and it's really, really good. We've also got upscale enhancement flows, kind of like Magnific, but not quite as good. I've still had some really, really good results with it. We're also adding, image to caption capabilities, so you can throw an image in, get a natural language prompt, or a Danburu tag caption, which you can pass straight into the positive prompt. So yeah, lots of options coming. Um, Quite exciting, and we're still forging ahead with the ability for you guys to create workflows which run on the generator. And having this new this worker system that I talked about, does allow that. So with there's going to be some talk that we'll have to have about how that's exactly going to work. But I'm quite excited that you guys can soon be able to make your own workflows. All right. Tentative explorations. I talk about this each week. Nothing concrete again. Something that Justin has indicated that he's got interested in, things that we might explore. The vault. We talked about the vault last week. Again, right now the vault system is very much underused. For those who have no clue what vault is, it's part of the paid subscription. You get a huge chunk of storage space where you can securely save checkpoints and LoRa's in case they're deleted from the system by the creator. Say the creator decides to take their checkpoints elsewhere, you'll still have download access to it. This is potentially evolving into another facet of private generation, being able to use your vaulted models to generate when they're no longer available on the site. Just like how, say you've downloaded a model, you've downloaded the weights. If it's removed from the site, you can still use it. Vault is an extension of your personal storage. If a model is removed from the site, everyone who downloaded it can still use it locally. So why couldn't you use it? We're also expanding the idea of using the vault space for other options, for other reasons, like saving your generation creations, which are usually only kept for 30 days. So these ones, for example, these are kept for 30 days. Wouldn't it be great if we could use the vault space to store those, keep them a bit longer without actually posting them to the site? Also, training data is another thing that we could use Vault for. That's another 30-day limit there. Well, cool options. All right. Let's see what else I've got on my list. Not really much. React tours, we still have that coming. Last week I said it was last week. Should be coming soon, but it's not. I mentioned these before, but it's not really going to be a big deal to you guys, most of my regulars that are watching. New users who are joining the site will be guided through kind of first step tutorials upon account creation, kind of holding their hand through taking their first steps on Civitai, creating their first image, posting it to the site, that sort of thing, because the site is insanely complex. I think this is going to be a big draw. One thing that we have taken away is we've removed the ability to archive models this week. It didn't really serve a purpose anymore. You can just unpublish your model now and it will appear in your model drafts, and then you can publish it again should you wish. Issues. We talk about some issues that we had over the past week. We had a few failures with the age classifier in the LoRa trainer. And when it does fail, it fails safe, meaning that all the training datasets that are sent in are waiting, are sent for review by a human. Seb and I, we manually review those as soon as it happens. So it hasn't caused any major training holdups yet. And the training dev is looking into why these fail and if there's a way that we can automatically pass things back through, because it is a huge pain having to go in and manually look through, 90, 100 or more data sets. And the age classifier jobs that we have running automatically are very, very good at detecting and canceling trainings when they find bad stuff. All right, Civitai Link. Talking about Vault, Civitai Link goes hand in hand with Vault. It's the way that you can, a little app that you can use, runs on Windows, runs on Linux, runs on Mac OS. Yep. You can use it to transfer models from your local to the Vault, or from the Vault to your local. You can use it to download models from the website. It's really pretty useful. It's subscriber only. It was broken a couple of weeks ago. There was a push made that it didn't agree with it, and it has now been fixed, I'm told. Unfortunately, the in-app updater doesn't work. You'll have to manually install the old link and re-download the new version. You can do that from this little button up here. You can add an instance here. Once you've done that and you've got it all hooked up, it'll work just as it used to. I have tested it. It seems to be fine, and all the people that were having issues with it prior, they've been fixed, I'm told. All right, contests. So Project Odyssey Season 2 is almost over. There's going to be a Twitch stream. What day is it today? Tomorrow, Thursday, February 13th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, announcing the winners. So if you're interested in Project Odyssey, maybe you've entered, maybe you're on the finalist shortlist, which is available on Project Odyssey, the website, definitely check that out. So tomorrow. New updates on Civitai Link when? I don't think there will be any new features pushed into Link anytime soon. That's something that's kind of on the back burner for now. But we need to make sure that it works, obviously. We're happy to keep it functioning, but right now there are no updates planned. We've got big things in the pipeline though, so yeah, watch this space. We have a Valentine's contest running right now. You can see it on the homepage here. It's running until February 14th, accepting images and videos across 5 categories. And you do get an awesome participation reward. Let me see if I can see it. Pull it up here. The Rendered Romance contest. Oh my god, my mouse wheel. Stop it. Here we go. Yeah, the Broken Heart participation badge. This is fantastic. So you've still got plenty of time to enter that contest. All right. Let me see. Someone asked on the Civitai Discord, is there a reason why Flux LoRa's can't be trained on custom Flux models like they can for SDXL? Yes. Yes. Let me think. Flux LoRa's can't be trained on custom Flux models. We are doing our Flux training in-house. I think it's the same reason that we don't have custom Flux checkpoints in the generator. It's something that is difficult for us to support. But with this new worker, it might be coming. That's right. They're not available in the generator. But yes, we'll have to bring that up again with this new worker. That would be huge. Don't think it's to do with the computation. Yeah, I don't think it's to do with that. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Community development. So we had an extremely difficult time. Where's my GitHub here? Getting our environment into a shape that can be run easily by potential developers who might want to volunteer their time to Civitai. We've containerized it with Docker, but the setup is still pretty funky. It's all documented on the GitHub here. I'll put it in the chat. Down here, all the instructions about getting started. But it is still a difficult process. So I'm thinking of doing a stream or a series even over the next couple of weeks, showing you guys how you can spool up a local version of Civitai, make some changes, and submit a PR if that's something that you'd be interested in doing. I know a lot of people have spoken about or indicated that they're interested in that. So I would like to help people get set up. I'm something of a developer myself. No, oh God. If you look at my PRs on GitHub, you'll see the sort of things that I change. Yeah, not very much, but I can at least get you guys set up. If you would like to contribute, I am able to help there. Let me have a look. What are my PRs on? Oh yeah, millions of them. Yeah, top Civitai dev. Yeah. Commits over time. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, there we go. Look at that. 15 commits. Not bad. Half these people don't even work for Civitai anymore, and they're still ahead of me. But of course, Justin is still there at the top. Yep. So if you're interested, I'll put out some information, some announcements on the Discord if we go ahead with that. But exciting. So I think that's all I have on my list today. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring up in the comments? Yes, K-Bro, exactly. Can I host my own Civitai and complain in the comments about how incompetent I am? Yes. Yep. That is something that, I'm not going to lie, does wrangle a little bit when people tell us that we are morons. Now, I mentioned we've got the 6 developers, and we're making do with what we have in terms of resources. Our development team are extreme. We've got a huge amount of knowledge. Many of them came from Microsoft. Yeah, no. I'm just reading the comments here. Definitely, we're not doing that. But yeah, we do have a wealth of knowledge in our development team, and it is upsetting when it's implied that we have no clue what we're doing. Things may not work the way that people expect them to work, and we are frustrated by that as well. But to imply that we're morons and that we can't build a site is just really a bit disingenuous. It's not the case. So, yes. But I'm not going to get bogged down in this. Don't draw me into that. I'm going to stay positive. Vault reveal time. I talk about Vault a lot, but I do not reveal what's in my vault because it is full of. Yeah, I know. Thanks. I don't reveal my vault because it's full of testing. That's my excuse. It's full of models that I use for testing. Ah, yes, that's a good point. It's not okay. That's not true. That's not true. Don't think that's true. Yep, test models. Um, the site being coded by ChatGPT. Nope, definitely not. My commits, yes, that's true, but everything that I've made so far has been reviewed. You know, you can't just submit a PR and expect it to be merged immediately. It has to be reviewed by our lead developers, and so far they've taken pity on me, and most of my commits get pushed in. So well done, ChatGPT. Let's see current status on bringing our images to the generator. Um, So we are you talking about true image to image? Because we have it for image to video. You know, you can drop in images. It doesn't always work the first time. It did there, which is great. I shouldn't have mentioned anything. It works the first time flawlessly every time. Um, but yes, you can do it for image to video, but you can't yet do it for true image to image. Okay, but that is a thing. It's still being worked on. It's that's still in development. I don't have any ETA for that, I'm afraid, no. All right. Anything else? I'm trying to think. Have we put in anything recently? I don't believe so. No massive changes other than the this one. Nope. Big things coming though. Like I talked about, the private generation is going to be huge. I think that's going to draw a lot of people in. It's going to be a very popular option. All right. No other comments, questions, concerns? Cool. Good stuff. In that case, that's it from me today. And I will see you all again next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, yeah, questions or concerns, please reach out to me in my DMs, or you can email me, ali@civitai.com. You can hit me up on site. If you come to my profile, the Ali, you can shoot me a on-site DM. I'm usually pretty busy, but I do try and respond to everyone as quickly as possible. If you're having a site issue, which you believe might impact more people than just yourself, then please create a ticket from the support button, bottom right hand corner down here. There is a link to the ticket portal. Or you can just email support@civitai.com. But I would prefer if you use the ticket portal because that way you can actually see the status of your ticket and any replies that you get from the support team. Yes. So your attackers answered a question there for me. Um, any chance that blue buzz will be tippable at some point? The whole concept of um, splitting out the yellow and the blue was that we had some kind of buzz that just was non-transferable, and that was tied to more tied to a specific monetary value. It was earned. It was there's earned buzz and there's purchased buzz. So blue is not likely to be tippable. That's kind of going against the whole concept of what Blue was made for. We originally called Blue Buzz Generation Buzz. You can use it for site services, but you can't actually transfer. It's not transferable. So that's the reason behind that. But yeah, any further issues, questions, concerns, please do let me know, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure talking to you all, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye. Thank you.